Thank you for tuning in to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports. I am your co-host, Sarah. I am joined by Tate, as always. We have a great show planned for you today. We will be talking about recent comments from Pat McAfee and a debate between Monica McNutt and Stephen A. Smith, both regarding Caitlin Clark. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys preparing for a significant shift in their running game strategy this season. Talking about Colin Cowherd suggesting that USC should end its rivalry game with Notre Dame, and then make sure you stick around for the last segment because we will be talking about dumb criminals, always one of our favorite segments. As we get started, I do want to remind you to like and follow the show. That really does help. Also, we do get a number of questions and comments that come in during the show. If you go to GSMCPodcast.net and leave a tip or a donation, that will put your question or comment at the top of our list, ensuring that we see it and are able to engage with that question or comment. Again, that is GSMCPodcast.net. And good morning, Tate.
Hello, Miss Sarah.
How's it going?
I'm doing good.
Good. You seem perky. You seem raring to go.
I'm doing good today. Doing good today. So
good.
Excited to be doing the show. We've been having since moving to the new office, new studio. There's been some scheduling issues, some technical difficulties. So we haven't been on our regular schedule, which I'm hoping that we can get this stuff behind us and moving that kind of right direction there.
Not really our A game.
No, it has not been our A game.
But we're working on it.
So
we're a work in progress. Like most people, we're works in progress. I admit that at least. I don't know.
All right, what do we got going on today?
All right, so today our first segment is ESPN had quite the interesting week. So let me just get this set up really quick, and then I will say that ESPN talk show host Pat McAfee, recently issued an apology after making controversial remarks about Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark during a WNBA discussion on his show. McAfee referred to Clark using a derogatory term. We're not going to say it here, but it did rhyme with witch and was preceded by the word white. And he later acknowledged his mistake, expressing regret for the inappropriate language and emphasizing his respect for Clark and women's sports. However, McAfee's comments sparked significant backlash, raising questions about the boundaries of sports commentary and the responsibility of media personalities. McAfee's apology came after a segment in which he praised Clark's talent, but also criticized the WNBA's officiating and media coverage of its rookie players. He argued that Clark, as a standout performer, deserved better protection from overly aggressive opponents and more balanced coverage from the media. McAfee's use of profanity and racial undertones to make his points drew widespread condemnation, prompting him to address the controversy on social media and express remorse for his choice of words. Meanwhile, Monday's episode of ESPN's First Take featured a fiery debate surrounding a flagrant foul by Chicago Sky Guard. Is it Chennedy or is it spelled with a CH? So I'm just making sure I'm pronouncing it right. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Chennedy Carter on Caitlin Clark. The panel, led by Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt, engaged in a heated exchange over the incident, with McNutt challenging Smith's portrayal of the foul and its implications for women's sports. McNutt argued that rookie welcome to the league moments, such as Carter's foul, are not unusual in the WNBA and should not overshadow the league's overall integrity. Smith defended his perspective, emphasizing the severity of the foul and its potential impact on Clark's career. However, McNutt countered that the focus on individual incidents detracts from the broader narrative of women's basketball and perpetuates negative stereotypes about female athletes. The debate underscored broader issues regarding the coverage and perception of women's athletics, highlighting the complexities of gender dynamics and media representation in sports. As McAfee's apology and the First Take debate continue to reverberate across social media and sports discourse, the incident serves as a reminder of the power and responsibility wielded by media figures in shaping public opinion and influencing conversations about sports and society. It was a busy, busy week, and I don't think these weren't the only conversations this week about Caitlin Clark, and we're about to have another one.
Okay, so first, I'm going to talk about Pat McAfee, because I feel like Pat McAfee, I'm actually going to defend Pat McAfee. It might have been a poor choice of words. It might have been a wrong description, but it's kind of like saying that LeBron James is a dog or he's a beast. He meant it as a compliment, even though many people did not take it as a compliment. And the reason why I'm even more on Pat McAfee's side is because, number one, you could tell he really didn't mean to do that. The minute he realized it, he did two important things. He apologized right away, and he reached out to Caitlin Clark. And from everything I understand on the Caitlin Clark side, they saw the incident. They said it was no big deal. She realized that he meant it as in a complimentary way, like she's a badass. She's that. I'm the head B. It may be a poor choice of words to call a woman a B, but it was meant as a compliment. Granted, I understand that. Then the Stephen A. Smith thing, I think Stephen A. was kind of taken back because I think he's very proud of his track record of supporting women's basketball and going out of the way. He talks about how he has full control over who's going to be on First Take. And he fought to get Monica McNutt on, which is a former college basketball player. And then Janae Abubakar, which is a WNBA star. He fought to have them on there, and he's looking at it as, he's trying to help women in women's basketball get more notoriety and more fame. And then Monica McNutt was kind of saying, like, yes, you've done great, but you could have done it years ago, even 3 or 4 years ago, which is a bit of a shock. Which kind of took him back a little bit. And it's one of those things where I look at this and everyone can be right and everyone can be wrong all at the same time. Stephen A. has been that guy who has really tried to promote women of color, and I think he's done a great job. But Monica McNutt looking at it as, look how long it took you to get to that point. Sometimes there's a lot that goes to it. You have to be able to get that cachet to get to that point. I've worked in broadcast a long time, and I have wanted GSMC and other places to cover more women's sports. And the timing just wasn't right. And when I say timing wasn't right, meaning to have a show, there wasn't a big enough audience. You have to have a large enough people that are following it, finally. So, like, very proud of GSMC because we have our Hoops and Heels women's sports show, which is a big deal for us, and we're super excited. We have Stephanie and Kaylin who are the show hosts. Oh, Samantha. Ooh, I messed up on that one. Samantha, thank you. And we're very proud of that. But a few years ago, that show might not have been, it'd have been very hard to get an audience for it. But now America's appetite for women's sports is growing. Now, with that, America's appetite for women's sports is growing. This kind of goes with what they were talking about with Caitlin Clark. That's the Serena Williams of the world helped blaze that trail. The Diana Taurasi's helped blaze that trail. Other women over the years had to carry water so that we could get to that point where now women's sports are becoming at the forefront, and people like Reese and Caitlin Clark can benefit from it. So it's one of those. It's a very touchy topic to talk about, because Stephanie McNutt is not wrong. We should have been talking about women's sports, leading sports shows with great things that women were doing years ago. Forget that, decades ago. But people would have, the consumption of sports media wasn't there. Now it is coming there. It's still not there, but it is better than it's ever been. And part of that are the people and the trailblazers that came before, and the tsunami that is Caitlin Clark. I think about what Reese said, that she is part of that. She is a part of that. You had your good guy, and Reese kind of became the bad guy in this because of their game and her waving in her face and everything, which then catapulted Caitlin Clark to another level. But that wasn't the only thing that catapulted Caitlin Clark to another level. Her play on the court catapulted her. The most points, one of the highest assist levels in women's sports history. She's been able to get the baton and run with it. And that's why Caitlin Clark has become such a big thing. My only thing that when I look at this whole thing, the only thing that bothers me right now about the Caitlin Clark thing, because I think it's a beautiful thing and I love that they're getting all this attention, but it feels like it's and this is my question to you, Sarah. It feels like it's the wrong attention. All publicity is good publicity, but I wish there was more. Like, she had a 30-point game. No one cared about that. They want to hear about the foul and what Reese said and all that stuff.
And that's my hope, is that we start here, because right now there's got to be drama. We're talking about women's sports because of the drama. My hope is that will open some doors in order to talk about women's sports the way we talk about men's sports, and that's in, this game happened and these stats were from this game and this player did this. Not, oh my gosh, there has to be a drama or we don't cover it. Hopefully it can lead to that.
I wish the drama, the targeting, the fouls, the racial overtones, that's what I would love to see kind of get swept away and start to focus on that. That's when you know that Caitlin Clark in the WNBA has made it. Right now, it's very sexy to talk about, like I said, the racial overtones, to talk about the fouls, to talk about all the stuff off the court. When they go to and they start covering the games, and this player did this, and they're covering it like the men's, where the big story isn't what happened off the court, but what someone has done on the court. That's when you know you've made it. And there's not like a flash in the pan that's going to go away. I want to see more focus on sports results and less on the off the court area.
And my only comment for Pat McAfee, not that he's ever going to see me say this comment, would be, if you think somebody's a badass, call her a badass. Just avoid that other word altogether. It can be triggering, and it can lead to, things that you weren't prepared for. So.
Yeah, and he admits it was a poor choice of words, but sometimes you don't think about it. You mean it as
right. Things come out of your mouth in the heat of the moment, but
and especially because guys can say some things about other guys that they don't take it that way, but sometimes you don't think about there's different overtones there. So, all right.
Yes. I just realized what happened with our system. We've implemented something new in our system, and it changed things in the middle of what you were talking about. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. We switched to a whole different scene right there. So I learned something new. I'm happy about that. But we're going to take our first break of this episode. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Dallas Cowboys and their running game strategy for this season. You are tuned into the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports, and we will be right back.